Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome again to HealthierLife.tv. This is Warren Connolly coming to you from a very sunny and almost summery Hungary. Oh, that all rhymed together. And my co-host is?
Paul Bursey from near London in the UK. So it just concerned me when he said again.
No, welcome for being here again.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, it's about change your health.
It came out that way, didn't it? It wasn't intended.
Anyway, this is about change your health by changing your state. And that is part 2, because if you remember last week, we did the first part.
Who can remember?
That's normally how it happens, isn't it? The first part of the week before. Anyway, the big question is this: how do I change my state of mind? Because that's what we're talking about. So I'm sure we'll cover that as we go through.
Yeah.
So let's, what you got, Warren? Let's see what you, because we spoke before we came on, and I don't think either of us have got any idea what the other's going to do. So this could be really, could be confusing, could be really interesting. Who knows? I don't know. So I'll let you go first, Warren, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, first of all, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a story. How's that sound? Start off with a nice
We all love stories. We all love stories.
And so we should. We're brought up on stories, most of us. So something I learned today, actually, and I thought this would be a really nice story to add to this kind of topic and the subject matter, is that there's a gentleman called Li Qingwan from China, okay? And he, in the year 1749, he conscripted with the Chinese military as a cartographer. And in 1749, he was 72 years old. Okay. On his 100th birthday, the Chinese military sent him a congratulatory note. That's in 1777. On his 150th birthday, they sent him another congratulatory note, which was 1827. And then in 1877, they sent him a 200th birthday congratulatory note. This is the Chinese military. And they reckon, according to their records, he was born in 1677. According to him, the man himself, he was born in 1736. And Paul, if any idea when, more or less, give me a 20, 25-year, 50-year time frame, when do you think he died? Based on what we're going to be talking about today.
Well, probably in the 20th century.
Yeah, 1933. That's when he officially died.
Yeah.
So if according to him, he was 197 years old, and if according to the Chinese military, which, they get things right? They do things the right way typically. He was 256 years old. Now, why I tell this story is because before he died, he was asked a question like, what is your secret to longevity? What has helped you to live this long? And he said for him, it was about calmness and serenity.
Quite great.
And that's something that I would like to talk about today, if we get there, is about heart-based experiences and how that can impact our health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so calm and serenity. Yeah, I'm always saying that, aren't I?
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen, of course, as we all know. It's a constant challenge.
Yeah.
But it's definitely somewhere we should all be aiming to be. Not too serene that we're in the cemetery, but it's serene and calm enough that we can enjoy life. And
this was his secret. The thing that where he grew up, he was up in the mountains, and he was a farmer growing seeds and things like this. So his life was based around that. So even when he retired from the military, I think he was 97 years old when he retired. He went back to farming in the mountains. Yeah, and that's a much different environment, much easier to live a life full of calm, as opposed to living in a city or anywhere else in today's modern world. So yeah.
So if that was 18th century, 19th century, whenever it was, I wonder if they had videos then. because he could have videoed himself, couldn't he, and done loads of videos.
If they had
every
GoPro,
time someone got in contact, we could have this video playing.
We could have made a full movie of it, a real life.
But it doesesn't matter how long he lived in the end, does it? Because
not exactly.
It's the way he lives and the message he's putting over.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
So that's the message I would like to share today. In essence, is about these heart-based experiences. If we learn to live our lives, if we can learn to live even part of our lives where we're living from a heart-based perspective, I found myself personally, and many of my teachers live like that. And you look at them and you think, wow, okay, you're not in your 70s, or you're not in your 60s, or you're even older in your 80s because of the way that they live their lives, that they live from a heart-based experience. And I see them and I think, wow, there must be some validity to that. And I look at myself, and the more I'm living my life based on a heart-based experience, I can see that it's the changes that it's made for me over the years.
I think it's probably a little bit more to it than that, but that is definitely one of the first things that I will be thinking of. Definitely. I mean, it's what we tend to.
Of course, there's more to it than that, right? That's why we're talking about it.
I know. But I mean, look, the challenge is the century that we live in. Okay, I think we're 21st century, aren't we?
Yeah, still last time I checked.
Yeah. So I see all these sci-fi things, and I think I don't know where I am. So, but yeah, 21st century, the pace of life, the state of the world, as we know, it's all a challenge to everyone just to get a reasonable level of consciousness and change and doing the right thing. And I think that so don't be put off by all this, because when we talk about perfection, but none of us ever get anywhere close to it.
No one's ever going to reach there, folks.
No. But the idea is to make your journey, however long you're going to be here, as comfortable as you possibly can, and that's what it's all about. And
for each person, your approach needs to be slightly different. There's no. I mean, every person's approach is going to be unique to what is that longevity for themselves and that better place for them to be experiencing life and be able to reach that. Each person, for them, it's unique. It's different. So if you just use some of the tools that are there available to you and be able to think a little bit differently when your point of view of what it means to be healthy and what it means to live a life of longevity, and trial things for yourself here and there. Then as you do that, you pick up these tools, and then that becomes part of your journey. And then, the rest is history, as I say. And then you found that tapestry of ingredients for yourself. Oh, that's a good one. Where did that come from?
Yeah, tapestry.
Tapestry of ingredients. Because that's the way I guess life is like. For each area of our life, we have a certain ingredient that helps us to be healthy, or for us to have strong relationships, healthy relationships, and for us to be financially in a good position, whatever that may look like for each individual. And then other part of our life is like our spiritual world, our social world, these kinds of things. And each part of our life has its own ingredient. It's not one size fits all for anything, or a simple act that's going to make it what it is, make it healthy, make it strong, make it good, make it prosperous. Not one thing is going to happen. You can't just do one thing and expect your life to change. It takes an ingredient.
However, what someone could do is adopt maybe half a dozen to 10 different things that they work on a little bit, and keep chipping away at a little bit of happiness, a little bit of calmness, a little bit of serenity, as you said, because we've all got different perceptions of life. We've all got our own inner thoughts. We've got our own emotions. We have fleeting moods. Well, hopefully they're fleeting and you're not grumpy all the time. Because we'll get annoyed. We will have little temper tantrum sometimes.
Of course. And that's allowed.
Yeah, but your mood, your mental state, in fact, you control more than what you think you do. But
yes.
But the thing is, but the thing is, your environment. You know, who are you around? Who are you talking to? Who are you listening to? What are you watching? What and it's not only people live or the place you're live. It's what you like. If you watch Netflix, or anything else. I'm not blaming Netflix, by any means, And
I watch Netflix.
no, but you do have a choice about what you watch. So if you're going to watch gangster things all the time and hip hop and drugs and I'm not lumping them together either by any means. But I mean, I'm just saying, we all like different things. Some people even like Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah.
Even I've watched that on occasion.
It's very interesting.
But then again, I'll go and watch Eminem in his film 8 Mile. So so we're all different. What I'm saying is we're all different.
you got to have that balance, right? A little bit of
balance. I've got to know how the other half lives.
Yeah.
And and then again, again, you've got to think what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know if Brian on here. Normally turns up when he's in Spain, and and he would be, his thing would be going abroad and relaxing.
Yeah.
And maybe doing a bit of running on the beach. I don't know, because he's a football referee like me. But so it'd be different for absolutely everyone. But what you have got to do is control what you can control, so that you only have things coming into your life that you want. Now, sometimes you can't control it. You work somewhere. It's very hard to control that. And you've got to master your emotions, and that's a big one as well. If you were thinking about being calm and serene, you would definitely need to master your emotions.
And this is imperative based on, like, if you're thinking of the work environment, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And many people, they go to a work environment every single day, hating where they're going to. Then it's important that you learn how to control your emotions, because if somebody at work is a bugbear to you, or getting on your back all the time about stuff, or you're getting bullied at work or whatever, that you can only control the controllables, right? And there's only one thing that's controllable in an environment when you're dealing with other people, and that's your state.
Yeah.
That's your emotions. That's your breathing. That's your thinking. That's your emotionalizing. That's the only thing you can control.
Yeah,
they cannot. Nobody can take that away from you. So it's at the end of and this is like, when we first started to do these podcasts, you and I would talk a lot about accountability and taking 100% accountability for your lives. And this is what that's about. If you can control your emotions, you're then being 100% accountable for your own life, because you can't blame other people for whatever's going on. It's within inside of you. That's your choice. Easy. It's not easy. And nobody's saying it's easy. That's probably one of the toughest parts of life, is being able to learn how to control your emotions. But once you get that, once you master it, you'll never be perfect at it, but you can master it. Then it's much easier if you're going to an environment where you just don't feel yourself being appreciated or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, for me, because to be fair, you can only ever speak for yourself as everyone else can, is that the number one thing that I work on is focus. And it is tough. I don't mind saying that, it's tough. And the reason it's tough is because there are so many distractions.
Yeah.
Like for this, I've turned my phone on airplane mode.
Good.
Right? Because I tend to get a lot of phone calls during the morning, and I hate phone calls in the morning. I don't want phone calls in the morning. I want to be able to do my work, and but I'm after working at peak performance. And the only way you can have peak performance is if you get these other things right. You've got to be in the right state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be, you've got to be hyper vigilant about when you're out and things like that, without going over the top and without sucking your energy away. Because that's the challenge that we have with distractions, is we have all these energy vampires that come in and rob us. And we allow it.
We do allow it, but if, like you touched on it, is that focus, right? And for you, that's what you're working on a lot. And it's the same for me. And it should be the same for everybody, where we work a lot on our focus, our ability to keep focused, because there are so many distractions out there. We need to strengthen that part of ourselves, that aspect of ourselves, is our ability to focus. If you look at anything in life where anybody succeeded in anything, it didn't matter how much talent they had, no matter whether it's business or sports or whatever, okay? No matter how much talent they had was irrelevant so long as their attitude was not right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is one of the aspects of attitude, is your ability to focus. What's your attitude towards whatever it is that you want to do and achieve? And if you're not focused on that, it's going to be very difficult for you to do it, because your state is not going to be in that. Your focus is your state, right? It's a level of state of energy. So if you want to focus and have energy in that area of your life, then that's what you've got to learn how to do, because otherwise your attitude is not going to be in the right place for it, unfortunately. And this is something that I'm learning at the same time as well.
Yeah, it's a constant, never-ending improvement. I mean, look, think about the headline: change your health. Now that's got to mean what it means for you.
Mm-hmm.
It probably would mean improving something, right? And you do that by being in a good frame of mind, a good state. Okay, and that's what we're getting at, and how to change it. I mean, I've spoken about this loads of times, that I've now, the first 3 things I do in the morning, all right, or the first 2 I do, let's talk about those, is gratitude meditation. All right. I get gratitude meditation. I also do an entrepreneurial thing as well, just after it. But if I get those 2 or 3 things in, I have a good day. Okay. So you'll pick whatever it is for you that you like, whether it's a bit of solitude in the morning, nice cup of tea, or coffee, or whatever you want to do, whatever it is. Okay. Find what works for you, and to start your day off the way you want to start it. And don't start it off by opening a bill, looking at emails. Yeah, and having that phone call you really don't want to make. Leave that to a little bit later.
Or even checking messages. That can set you off down the wrong path so quickly.
Yeah. You've got to at least control the first hour.
Yes.
It's a golden hour, that first hour after you get up in the mornings.
That's my golden hour. And I'm like you. I do gratitude first. I write down 10 things that that I'm grateful for, and then my goals. I'm actually writing with my right hand now. I've been doing it for 76 days nonstop.
Yeah.
Every morning, writing with my right hand. So I'm left-handed. Yeah. So I'm writing something with my right hand, and that's helping my brain wake up a lot better. I'm getting my cognition correct, balance on both sides by doing that. And this is it. It's part of my golden hour, the meditation. But there's a simple thing that around this, and it's really not that difficult to start applying into your life, because at the end of the day, these are just habits. So whether you have a bad habit of waking up in the morning and reading your emails, reading messages, going to social media, looking at the news, those are bad habits. All right. But they are habits at the end of the day. So you can make the decision, which is the key. Can you make the decision to then every morning get your energy right and set in the right place to set you up for the rest of the day, potentially, by practicing good habits first thing in the morning? Start practicing good habits. It's going to take some time, because there are habits at the end of the day. It's not something that you're doing preparing for an exam. That's not, preparing for a test where it's going to be a short period of time that you're going to be doing this. This is a lifelong thing. So you're creating a habit of doing this. And once you start, get into the habit, the energy changes. Your energy changes when you wake up in the morning. Instead of wake up in the morning thinking, I've got to drive through traffic. And then you get up and then you stump your toe, and it's then you walk downstairs and the cat gets underneath, or the dog gets underneath your feet, and then it's and then everything starts to snowball from there, right? when you start to create these habits where you write gratitude in the morning, meditating in the morning, your brain is your subconscious mind is starting to preempt the goodness, the good things you're going to be doing the first thing in the morning. So when you wake up in the morning, your subconscious mind has got into the habit of, I wake up in the morning, I get started with these 3, 4, 5 things. Okay, for my first hour.
That's exactly what I do. Yeah.
And then you're going to wake up in the morning thinking, today's a new opportunity. Today's a great day for me to impact people's lives or whatever. I mean, this is for me personally, because this is what the things I want to do. But for you, whatever that is, you're going to you're not going to wake up in the morning and go,
the other thing is that when you do what you want to do that early in the morning, and you do whatever the amount of time is, it'll be different for everyone.
Could be Tai Chi. Maybe you just get up and
do
do Tai Chi.
But once you've done those, you actually deal with distractions better. Whereas if you have the distractions, if you allow those distractions in early, it just destroys your day. Like when you pull that out. So I got excited. The other thing you can do, if it all goes wrong in a day, okay, you've got to reset a little bit. Now, you mentioned the thing about driving to work. Okay.
Yes.
And some people have to do that. Okay. So rather than think about, let's say it takes you 45 minutes to drive into work. So rather than think about all the things that are bad about it and things that can go wrong, and you're going to be caught up in traffic, you can make your car a learning library.
Yeah.
And
University on wheels.
Yeah, and then find out what you like and have that, in the car.
Yeah.
Or like you could make it, as I say, a learning university in your car if you want it. You could actually do a whole course in your car, as long as it's not a sleep course, of course, till you fall asleep. But
just don't meditate while you're driving, please. Just don't put on a guided meditation audio or something like that. Please don't do that. Hey, look, when I was in Dubai, I basically, and when I was in South Africa before I went to Dubai, I had material like cassette tape material and CDs in Dubai, and then USBs, and every day. I mean, sometimes I was driving for loads of hours a day. Every day I'd be listening to something. I literally went through what should equate to a master's okay, in wellness and well-being, in terms of the stuff that I learned about psychology and our state and our body, and how all of this is integrated into our daily thinking, and how our daily thinking impacts the actions that we take, and how those actions impact our health overall. If your energy when you're in a place like in a car driving through traffic, and you're listening to something that is empowering you and impacting your life, whether you're studying at university and now you're doing listening to an audio book about something that you got to learn and study, or whether it's something that is for your own personal development, maybe it's for business, maybe it's to listen to some motivating speeches, whatever that is, if it's impacting and empowering your life, it's going to change your energy. So even if you start off the day in a bad mood, okay, and you think to yourself, I've got to drive through traffic for the next hour, then when you get in the car and you start listening to the stuff, it's going to change your state. It will. It has to. Okay, because it's positive energy that's coming into you. And if you're going to be in traffic even for 20 minutes, you listen to something that's going to impact your life. It's going to impact the rest of your day. And you will notice different things around you. You'll start noticing stuff around you that is in line with what you're listening to. Whether it's engagements with other people, whether it's people's subject matter on business subjects, topics, whatever it is, you're going to start noticing and picking up things a lot, because you're going to be more attuned to that. You're listening to the language more, the attunement rate is raised, your energy is raising, and then you become more positive as a knock-on effect, because you're thinking of things that you want to think about, not things that are bothering you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what would affect your state of mind? Maybe for something negative.
Me personally?
Yeah.
Or the viewers?
Well, no. Think about the last few months. Has something happened? You know, you've let some negative thing in without really thinking about it. And then you've sort of woken up, thought, oh no, I shouldn't be doing that. Or I shouldn't be thinking. You know.
It's being lackadaisical in my work ethic.
Okay.
That's it. Lackadaisical in my work ethic. You know, I've let it slip in recent times prior to the last, say, couple of months, 3 months. You know, so I'm getting better at it all the time. But that's one thing that is, yeah. If I look back at what that is that I've got to change about my work ethic. You know, I look back in my history and I can see a long trail of examples going back to when I was a kid. You know, and that's something that I've carried through my whole life with me. That attitude, that belief, at least. It's not it's a belief, and I'm working on changing that belief within myself, which I know will impact my work ethic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just, again, I'm creating a new, if you will, you know this, Paul. I look at the brain. I look at us as a computer simulation. We're a computer program. Our brain, our subconscious mind. So you know, when I look at that, that's just programming. I've just got to reprogram it. That's all, and that's what I'm working on.
And here's and I know people, when you start talking about the brain, you lose some people. And I get it. I do understand that.
Of course.
But here's a classic way that how the brain works. The brain can't tell the difference between a lie and the truth. Okay, it deals with habit as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do, and I used to do this a lot, and I was joking. Right? I really didn't believe it for 1 minute, and that was putting myself down. You know, I was mucking around, but doesn't matter if you're serious or mucking around. It only hears the negative.
Yeah.
So don't put yourself down. Put yourself up. It was like, there's a classic thing about, and we were listening to with this training we've been listening to recently about prospecting, and you know, and it's very, very easy to say the wrong things. So I'm useless at that. I'm crap at that, or something. You know, something like that. What you should, you know, to keep it a little bit mild, you say, well, I've not been the best at that. However, I'm improving every day.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
Now that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth, and that's exactly where I was.
Mm-hmm.
Not there, not 100% there yet, but I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I felt comfortable with that, rather than saying I'm the best at this and whatever. No.
Yeah, because then you're living a fantasy.
Not yet.
And even and the thing is, even when you truly are the best at, you're not going to go around advertising it.
No, because that's when ego takes over.
Yeah.
You don't want that. That's the last thing you want.
That's one state you don't want to go down. That's one state you don't want to.
But you could say something like, you know, now I'm really cool at prospecting.
Yeah.
You know, and I've worked at it every day for the last year, and I'm not bad. You know, I'm really getting there. You know, that would be more the truth about, you know, than
more authentic, right?
Yeah, it is more authentic, and it's not blowing your own trumpet. It's just saying, yeah, I'm doing all right, doing okay. You know, and that's what we want more of, more honesty. You know, between you and the mirror and your mind. You know, it's very important, and the same goes for your health as well.
It's imperative, Paul. It's not important. It's imperative, and why? Because there's so many lies out there. There's so many people lying to us every single day about this, that, and everything else. That if we're lying to ourselves, it's so easy to just justify it because everyone else is doing it to you.
That's why you have to pick and choose who you listen to.
If you want to be a brave individual and you want to learn how to grow for yourself and your family and whoever else, then you need to be honest with yourself and confront it and say, okay, it is what it is. And then you move on. You forget about it. You just move on. And if you fall back again, you fall back. So what? Just get up and go. You know, it's not about how many times you get knocked over. It's how many times you get up. And I can't remember who said that, but that stuck in my mind. You know, it's not about how many times you get knocked over. Eh? Yeah. It's about how many times you get back up again. And there's so many examples of that anybody can think of if you just think for a moment. I know most of us don't like to think too much, but if you just think back in your own history, how many times you've seen that example happening where, you get knocked over, somebody gets back up again, and eventually they succeed. Eventually they will succeed. It's inevitable, because what will eventually happen again, it goes back to subconscious. Your subconscious will start to take over because you're programming it that it doesn't matter whether I failed this time around or not. It doesn't matter, because tomorrow's or the next phone call or the next whatever is another opportunity. And history is history. That's exactly what it is. Again, it's not easy, and this is a challenge that I'm also still going through as well, and Paul is going through. But we're all going to go through those kind of examples if we choose that we want to live the life that we deserve to live. And whatever that means to you, it will depend on how bad you want it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, look, the question is, how do I change my state of mind? How can we do that, Warren? How can we do it, and do it almost immediately?
Breathing.
Well, that was definitely one on my list.
And then if you integrate breathing and meditating, then it's going to be even more powerful. But almost instantaneously, it's a thought. It's a decision to think differently. Yeah. So if somebody is standing in front of you and they're berating you and they're running you down, you are in a moment where there's no other option other than to either think, hey, hang on a second, I know I'm not that person. I know I'm much better than that person is describing me to be. And that's your decision, whether you make that decision to think like that or to accept what they're saying as being the truth. And I don't believe the truth, until, as long as, no, it's not that I don't believe the truth, because I don't believe that whatever they believe I am is the truth, whether it's good or bad. Because nobody knows me like I know me. And whether somebody says something good to me or bad to me,
they say that in the Bible, isn't it? I'm not a sort of really into the Bible. Yeah. Know yourself. Know thyself.
Know thyself.
And that's quite right. It is quite right. So, but I mean, things like if you want to do this fast, because there's two ways of doing it. You do it fast to get yourself in a better state of mind straight away, and there's things you can work on over time as well that will help as well. So for me, it's about movement. All right, because if you're moving, you can't. It's very rare that you're in a bad mood when you're moving about. Okay, so if I'm exercising, albeit gentle exercise, I very, very rarely have any anger or frustration, or I have the hump about anything when I'm exercising. The other thing I do is posture. Right now, there's lots of ways lots of little bits you can do there, but one of them won't be sitting in this chair that I'm in at the moment. It'll be standing up straight, shoulders back, chest out, head up, which I don't always do. I've always been told I lean too much far forward. That's too much climbing mountains. I think I've done that. But yeah, and of course the thing is, when you got the posture right, you're not looking down, because that's obviously one of the things about depression and things on that sort of line. And you want to get away from that and look into the mirror, start smiling, laughing, all these types of things help, and you can do them immediately with the breathing, with the exercise. Some of them you can't do together, but some you can, right? And and your gratitude. And if you do those three, the movement, the posture, and the gratitude, coupled together with the, obviously the smiling, laughing, breathing things.
Laugh whenever you can.
Yeah.
Be silly.
There's loads of little things you can do, but if just those quick ones there can actually tip the balance back in your favour.
Sure.
And that's what you want for that immediate minute, and then you can work on the rest. All right. So,
for anyone with small children, follow their cues. Children know how to be relaxed and how to be calm. we as adults, we teach them to be stressed out and anxious and freaked out about certain things. But children know how to be relaxed and calm and follow their cues. If you've got small children and you're feeling stressed, just go spend some time with your kids and just do whatever they want to do, not what you want to do. Just do what they want to do and follow their cues. And notice how quickly you lighten up.
Yeah, Dad, can I have an ice cream? You might as well go and get it first time. Trust me.
That's granddad, not dad. That's granddad.
Yeah, I know. You know what I mean. I'm doing that from the past. Now it's great granddad.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're talking now.
Oh, so, fantastic! Wonderful.
Yeah. So with that, think about this. You're trying to improve your health, and you're doing it through improving your state of mind, the way you are at this present moment, each moment, and obviously as things happen, how you react to them. And it's very, very important how you react to things.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, as well as I do, how many times have we reacted wrongly to something and it's ruined the whole day?
Oh, yeah. And not just our day, but it ruins other people's days too.
Yeah.
What's the point in that? What's the point in messing up someone else's day?
All of this has a knock-on effect with your health.
Yes, of course.
Right? So we know about diet, we know about sleeping, we know about hydration, lifestyle, this and that. But the state of mind controls it all.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm in a bad mood or I'm upset, I don't eat. Doesn't happen very often, but I'm just saying, I remember from the past.
You're kind of lucky in that sense, Paul, because the fact that you don't eat is probably the better half of what most other people do when they're upset and angry is they just eat cuck. They eat rubbish, and they eat the first thing that they can put their hands on. And as long as it's got high in carbs and sugars, typically that's what they go for. So you're actually very lucky in that sense.
Yeah, all I do is fast, and I don't mean to fast.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
So there are some. Look, the bottom line is that you have a lot of control over this, and moving forward, we've all got to eliminate something from our life, or at least reduce it down to the very, very basic minimum. So I think we're done here. I think that this is the type of subject you could go on forever, and we don't want to do that. And
but before we go, I want to just say good evening, Graham. I don't know where you were this morning, but you were late, sir.
Oh, Brian.
Graham Taylor. He was like, "Good morning, guys." As I was saying, it's evening. He was late. The message.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Brian Graham Taylor. Sorry.
Yeah. He's probably on the beach somewhere. So.
Yeah, he's most likely on the beach. Look, I'd like to just wrap up with another story, and that's a story of Mr. Cole Benz. So for the younger generation, you may not put the names together, but if we spoke about focus just now, and about what we're picturing in our mind will evolve into a physical thing, all right? And how that literally can change our futures for the rest of our lives. Now, if you look at a gentleman like Cole Benz, he was the first person to come up with the four-wheel wagon, motorized wagon, or what we now know as the car, all right? And if you think about a gentleman like that, the focus he must have had in the pictures, the visuals that he must have had in his mind's eye to come up with something that had never been created before. I mean, in today's world, there's very few things that have yet to be created as in its entirety. Things just evolve and become better and move on from there. So instead of having fighter jet planes in the military air force, now we have drones. All right. So but when he first created the car, there was nothing to go by. Nothing. So I think about that and I think, man, what an imagination he must have had. And that imagination would have encompassed his every being. He would have become that person that he did. He became that. He had to become that person in order to be able to invent that thing. And he had to become that still, even though he was obviously a genius beforehand. He still had to become that person that could create the first four-wheel motorized wagon, yeah, whatever they called it in those days. But this is, I tell the story because it's just, for me, stories like that, examples of that are so powerful in terms of how our state, the thinking that we're doing, the habits that we create, the programming we give our subconscious, how that can literally change the world around us forever. And it's just a matter of, do you live from a heart-based experience on a day-to-day basis? Are you living with compassion? Are you living with love? Do you live in calmness and serenity? Are you living from here as opposed to here? Okay. It's not easy. It's difficult in today's day and age to live more from here than from here. But when you start to get that balance as much as you possibly can in your daily life, you'll start to notice how your health changes, and your health will start to change exponentially as a result of being able to bring everything from here into here. Yeah. Because if this is not pumping healthily, if this is not working correctly, it doesn't matter how clever you are, what a genius you are. If your heart's not working properly, this is useless, right? So this is why I'm talking about heart-based experiences: compassion, love, serenity, and calmness. And there's more. But if you take those and try to live with those to some element or some aspect of your daily life, day to day, you'll start noticing a difference in your health, in your own health.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Totally. So, right, we're done.
Glad to know that. Thank you.
As I say, we're finished for today. If you've got any questions, let us know, and then we'll come back and answer them for you. You'll do that on healthierlife.tv if you want to. If you found this useful, please share it with someone and show the love. Facebook loves, not likes. So
a like is fine, but a love is much better.
And comments, and it's great for us because it's interactive, and we love to be interactive with our audience. Now, obviously, we're on podcasts, we're on YouTube and Rumble and other places like that. Same there. Please show the love. And I know it's quite a long one, 42 minutes, but I think it's worth it. It's been a really, really good show as far as I'm concerned. But the ultimate people that would decide that is the audience. So not us. We could sit there all day and be talking to ourselves. But anyway, we'll see you next Wednesday on healthierlife.tv, and I hope you have a fantastic week in between. And Warren, over to you, and just take us off.
Have an outstanding week, as Paul said, and a little takeaway exercise for you is start thinking of what positive habits you want to instill in your life that you believe will change your state and your health, and start practicing them one step at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time, perhaps one habit at a time, until you've got that habit sunk in, and then move on to the next one. And until next week, Wednesday, enjoy the rest of your week.
See you later, everyone. Cheers.
Bye now.